Gosh, quite a lot of rain recently, you may have noticed. And look, this isn't just me from Auckland going, gosh, it rains a lot in Auckland, no surprises there. Quite a lot of rain in most parts of the country, but don't just take my word for it. Welcoming to the show, Philip Duncan from weatherwatch.co.nz. Phil, kia ora, nice to see you.
Kia ora, hello, nice to see you.
Is it just a regional thing, or has there been quite a lot of rain in just about every part of New Zealand, particularly in the last 2 or 3 days?
It's been hit and miss. We've had a decent system come across the country. We've got a big windy southwest flow over New Zealand right now that I like to say that we're just two rocks sitting in the roaring 40s.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've got at the moment. I love this weather. I have to admit, I work inside. I've got air conditioning and heat pumps, so I'm lucky. But I love this weather in Auckland. I like the showers off the Tasman, the strong winds that come with it, kind of squally weather, makes you feel alive. But it's not for everyone. There are some parts of the country that are dry and sort of in the rain shadow.
Mm-hmm.
The southwest wind, along with the Southern Alps, really does keep places dry. And so it's not everyone getting the rain, but those that are getting it are getting plenty of showers.
Certainly, there's a few come down in my neck of the woods, and honestly, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because a week ago, there was some pretty serious frosts, especially in the deep south. It was mighty cold. A little bit of rain, a little bit of cloud blankets. That warms everybody up, right?
Yeah, that's right. Before I chat to you on Thursdays, I talk to a radio station in Gore,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've got a sort of this focus on inland Southland whenever I talk to you, and it's good because it does actually help me work out frosty weather, and they've got some big frost. In fact, on Saturday, if you live in the lower South Island, hello to winter, because the maximum temperature in Gore on Saturday, and therefore Invercargill, Queenstown, Dunedin will all
Yeah.
be similar territory, 5 degrees.
Wow.
5 degrees is as warm as it gets. Overnight lows -1, -2. There'll be snow on the mountains, snow on the hills. This is proper end of autumn weather, pre-winter, and it's great.
Yeah.
But as the announcer said, I'm taking my kids out to sport on Saturday. What's it like? And I'm like, well, it's going to be awful.
Yeah, it's going to be a shocker. No, totally. Hey, we are pretty much at the end of autumn, as you say, winter around the corner. This heavy rain that we're getting at the moment, and that beautiful map behind you, is it going to get serious? Because this is also the time of year. I mean, in other years we've had tail ends of cyclones and all sorts of stuff where what starts off as, oh gosh, there's some heavy rain, turns into floods and slips and road closures and all of that type of stuff. Is it going to hang around long enough to cause any problems for us, Phil?
Do you know what? New Zealand's weather is not linear. And if you don't know what that means, it just means it doesn't go on a straight line towards winter. We go up and down like a staircase that makes no sense. I can't remember the name of that artist that drew the stairs that go
Escher, yeah.
down.
Yeah, that was
It looks
Escher,
like
yeah.
that. And so you have one day where it feels like winter and you think, yeah, this is it. We're on the way. This is proper winter. And then suddenly winter arrives, and it only takes one high pressure zone to be behind my head on this map, east of New Zealand. And suddenly you've got northerlies and warm weather coming down from the subtropics. And we can get that at any time of the year. We can sometimes have our coldest weather of the year in autumn, not in winter.
Yep.
We've only got 3 months to make it work. And we are technically now in the solar winter. That is the 3 months of the year with the least amount of available sunlight. So that's basically 6.5 weeks either side of the shortest day. And the shortest day this year is June 21st. So we are properly into that winter side of things now. But the coldest weather typically doesn't hang around until about August. That's the month that we normally see that nationwide drop down.
Yeah, that's the snowfalls and the skiing holidays and all those sorts of things, although results vary depending on your favourite ski field.
Right.
Looking at that bigger picture, though, because we've had, gosh, I always get these confused, the La Nina or the El Nino.
El Nino just been.
Yeah. El Nino's just been. Now we're coming out of that. What does that look like for longer term? What does that look like in terms of what the big picture of winter will be for us this year?
So El Nino is the little boy and La Nina is the little girl.
I'll still never remember it, but thank you for that.
It's always, yeah. And they've been around since time. It swings left and right every few years in the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Way the news media has changed has put a lot more focus on this as if it's some kind of weather forecast. Like, oh, La Nina's here. We're going to have another Cyclone Gabriel.
Yeah.
We had 3 La Nina events in a row The third one produced Gabrielle, but the two before it produced droughts. So and even the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia, and they're really smart. They're really good with these long range stuff. They are saying, because the climate is warming up, the data that we've always used and relied on may no longer work. In other words, El Nino and La Nina may not mean what they used to mean for us. And so we are heading towards La Nina by the end of the year, or maybe early next year. But for now, we are in neutral weather. And if you ask a farmer, they will tell you this feels exactly the same as it did 3 months ago when it was still El Nino, or a month ago. So we're in an El Nino hangover. La Nina is going to build at some point. That usually means more easterlies, more rainmakers to our north, that kind of thing. But for now, we're in neutral. And so chaos. That's what neutral actually means. It sounds benign, but neutral actually means a bit of everything. And just quickly, the last week in New Zealand, we've had northerlies, easterlies, southerlies, westerlies. So, I mean,
got to catch them all. Seriously, that's the full set. And as that wonderful map behind you, it's just all spiraling around from all directions, really, isn't it? Yes. The model has changed, and we'll just have to wait and see what the weather is going to do. But thanks for your information, of course, for the latest updates. WeatherWatch.co.nz. Phil, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.